Alright, continuing with the rental logic, I was thinking I certainly want to add a positive or a star rating to the system, because that's, I think, the ultimate kind of e-commerce relationship. If you're renting out things, you can do it in perpetuity to as many people as possible, then kind of raise the rates or buy more. You can kind of grow endlessly and also specialize in the things you have, which would then lead to people specializing in effectively what they want to maintain. Again, like if you somehow like fixing bikes, then you would want to work on the bikes to maintain them and then rent them all out. So, let's get back into it. Let's create a reservation. I'm viewing as dev. We gotta see who's the author of this. Well, we should be able to see the author for sure. So let's quickly add a collection there. That's going to reference this item, the author reference, and author, seller, and where did that go? All the way to the bottom. Let's put that up here, maybe below the fields. And in this case, author seller, we don't have one, which is interesting, so let's make sure that we can edit this. And yeah, author, edit the admin. So if I'm dev, and verify that the author, which is writing to the ID, using the row ID for the value for the user, so it saves correctly. And now I should be able to see, what am I doing wrong here? Collection, author seller, author ref, name, title, role, options. There's no filter on there. You don't need a search bar, so that's just not showing. Let's see what we're doing wrong here. I think it should be replacing all these relations with a query, but I still don't quite know how to do that. So the author ID, that looks good. What are we doing wrong here? So the power saw has the author ID, and the power saw, author seller, collection, author ref. Oh, because it's a calendar widget. That's why. It's not what I was looking for. Reservations. Let's copy that. Alright, put that up there. This is going to be referencing the author reference. Yeah, okay. We can filter out the data there, or remove the filter rather, and yeah, that works fine. Alright, so if I'm dev, I shouldn't be able to reserve this, so that's good. Maybe add a meta of our credit in. It's interesting. Pexel's photo. Oh, is that image thing? Whatever. Alright, so if I'm moving into, if I'm gonna be someone else, sway, I should be able to reserve this. Why reservations? No. I want this to be the author. And that's gotta be called author, seller. We want to remove the actions for the ability to add. We want to add an author. Show component when rental is checked. Nope. Author, seller, group by. Okay. So that's a little better. Alright, so now I'm viewing this way. I should be able to reserve this. And I might want to move the fields now that it's getting a little 1 hour. Yeah, okay. Alright, so if I want to reserve this, new rental order, when is that going to be? Let's say for the Thursday, 12 p.m. Okay. So now I'm viewing this reservation by Sway. And can I edit this reservation? And why should I be able to edit it? Well, maybe if it's like not accepted or something like that. Otherwise it could be canceled. But edit, show edit screen this item, add condition. Let's say allow action when user profile is, the ID is the author ID. Author ID. Okay. Just leave it like that. And you can go into someone's profile. There's a lot going on here. I'm going to quickly say coin received and change that to a table just to make things a little bit closer. Post mentioned in, hosted events, authored posts. Boy, things are getting messy, but alright, back to the order. It's cool how I updated the title as using a template. So if I make myself dev again, then we can mark this as accepted. And when does that work? Mark it as accepted. Done. Accepted, added, accepted when. Alright. Now if I want to mark this as like delivering, mark delivering. So, okay. Now the mark accepted button is showing up because our logic, our visibility logic, set conditions when the component should be visible. Mark accepted. Oh, the component, but the action has its own logic as well. Got it. When the status string okay, so we need the accepted action to be available when. How's that going to work? The status string. Can we create an initial value for. Can you do an initial value when you create a new document? Or just a custom initial value? Well, when you create a new document, the status is not going to exist. So we'll just say status string is empty. Alright. So when the string is empty, it's a new thing which allows us to change it to accepted. So we have now the status of delivering when, and it would be cool if you had like a template for an icon for the title. Yeah, for like if it's delivering, you have a little truck icon or something. Alright, and mark delivering, and let's just create a few more of these. Mark delivering, mark delivered, and then we'll call this one mark received. received, and that'll be from the author of the order. And then I guess the return logic should be interesting. Like mark, where you might want to say, is it a pickup? Suppose the resolution of the actions will be evolved over time. So mark received, or am I going to bring this back to your house, or are you going to pick it up from mine, kind of thing. Well, sort of unnecessary when you just have neighbors that can chat amongst each other, but alright, mark received. So, well, mark delivered. We'll start there, and that is going to be the mark delivered action. And then when the status string, it's going to be available when that is delivering. And this also reminds me that we need images for these parts. Well, when you mark it as delivered, then that image should show up, right? So, okay. This is actually getting, more interesting. So mark delivering, you don't need a photo to prove that. Let's say mark delivering, and then in the fields, this is delivering when, delivered when. Got it? Okay. And we'll probably also want like delivering time separations and delivered when. Alright, so we also want, I guess we'd want like undo, like no, it hasn't actually been delivered, or at least just an undo ability for admins, so I can move through the chain and like simulate all of that. God, do I want to be able to undo each step? There's a lot going on here now. Delivered when. The mark delivered button is going to show when it is delivering. Alright. So now, rental orders. This is getting interesting. Delivered, accepted when, delivering when. So let's create a new column there. We'll say delivered image. This is going to be a lot more helpful to actually have people test it, because otherwise it's like, hey, join my social network, and people are like, why? I'll just use Facebook or something, but specific rental logic. Alright, delivered image, delivering, accepted, received when, and let's create a new received image. I still haven't really messed with user-specific values. There's so much under the hood that I haven't actually utilized. Received image. Alright. So let's update the status of this. Let's create a new form elements text entry. And now this is the first time I'm moving into updating something that's not in the edit detail screen, which is cool, because this whole thing will be like the dashboard for the chain of custody for this item. Alright, the text entry we want to call status, and that should only be available if I'm an admin, so I can test it. So let's set the conditions for the component. When the user profile info role includes admin. Okay. and we only want that to change the status. We can just call that status. Which reminds me, I want to be able to change the status of a user. Just people can say I'm, whatever, cleaning house or dancing or whatever. Let's call this just status. Alright. And so if I say that the status is nothing, then that's empty. Now we can mark this as accepted. And when it's marked as accepted, these buttons now show up. Mark delivering, mark delivering, mark delivered. So gotta update that. Mark delivered. And I want a different icon. I don't know. Delivered, delivering, deliver. Look at you. Okay, here we go. I mean, this could be just a full, Grubhub replacement, basically. Any store could use this, but that requires, location and tracking and map, and there seems to be a great template for tracking routes, but I haven't dove into that. Alright, delivered. If it's on its way, it's handed off. Oh, deliver, there we go. Thumbs up. Alright. Mark delivered. Why is that not showing? Mark delivered. Mark delivered. Oh. Right. This is going to be mark received. But we haven't made that yet. Received. Maybe we'll use that for now. Mark received. And then mark returned. Over here. Mark returned. Some sort of completion. Travel. Sort of like a completion box. Okay. Let's go. So now we should be able to go through the chain and say mark delivering. Delivered, but when it's delivered, or when you want to mark it as delivered, then there should be an image picker, mark delivered, and that's the delivered image, good, and the mark delivered button needs to show conditionally if the status is delivering, you are the parent author ID, and the delivered image is not empty. Okay. Delivered image. So we can take a photo with your camera. Just say that's the image. So obviously if the delivered image isn't good, then that's sketchy. We also want to show the image after we've added it. So we can show the image right below, as well as have the image updater. And what does the image button, title, no, I didn't want that. I wanted a content image. Simple image component, we'll call that the delivered image. So that shows, and we can say mark delivered. Now that's done. Now the image picker should not show the editor. So we'll say options, add the component, and we can update the, so you can only edit the delivered image when the status is delivering. Status. Oh no, not the user profile. When the status is delivering, right. So if I update the status delivering, then we can update the delivered image, and then we can mark it as delivered. Should probably show like delivered at as like a text thing there, not just up here. Delivered. Right, and then we'll go into separate actions. So to mark the action for mark delivered rental orders, and we'll duplicate this to call it copy of mark delivered. We'll say mark rental order received. If the user row ID is not the parent author ID, but just the author ID, it's sort of a duplicated check because we're making sure on the user end you are the right person, but set the comment values for mark order received, status received, and then accepted when, delivered when. You can remove that. We don't want to clear the value, but we just want to nullify it or do nothing. Delivered when, received when, and then that would be the current date time. And there should also be received image there, but we can update mark received, success. Okay, go back into the layout and mark received is a button that takes the action of mark rental order received. Allow action when parent author ID is row ID. We'll say when the author ID, so you are the buyer, and the status is delivered. And we'll do the same with the image. Right. So if I need to go back into here and be sway, then I can mark received. Right. Wait, what? No, mark received, mark rental order received. mark received. It should update the status to be received. Mark accepted, mark rental order received. Set the column values if the author ID. Oh. Received, right. Received when, right. Alright. Jumping back up into here, test that, and we'll do mark received. Alright, so we need to move these text values down here so that you can see just the updates as they go through, and have the photos and the timestamps associated with them. That'll be next time.